I was going to do my videos tomorrow. Today is Saturday, the sun's going down, but I had the yearlings fresh in my head, and really there's nothing on TV. It's ridiculous. We're in the middle of a pandemic and there's no movies on, no nothing. It's very frustrating. So I said to myself, why don't I just come out and do some of the videos now and finish up at least till the sun goes down. It's actually a beautiful day right now, and it was all day today. As I said in my opening video, it was about +6, which was just cool enough to keep the track dry. It's soaked right now from all the wet snow that fell all week, and if it went up with the sun and +8 or 9, it would be a swamp. So it was a little overcast. The sun was peeking out all morning, and it kept the track good all day. So I had a real good chance to let a few of the ones I went with roll along. Johnny let a few of his roll along. We're in a bit of a transition. Amy said to me after today, she said, why are you going so fast with some of them? Well, I want to stretch some of them out. Some of the ones that I wanted to go with to see how they are, how they were behaving, how they were coming. Obviously, I wanted to go with 3 Point Blue Chip today. I haven't gone with him in a while. We'll talk about him soon. But I wanted to get a sense of, okay, it's almost December. I want to know who is still not doing their work right, who looks like they have some issues, and there are some horses that I would bet. Now, before I say this, I will give a little caveat. I was certain that Stonebridge Dolce had OCDs. She did not. She none. So when I say this horse has an OCD or this horse, unless I tell you the veterinarian has fluoroscoped or x-rayed the horse and there is indeed OCDs, it's just my belief that they're there. I went with the Dio filly, Garden State Dio today. Trot's great, perfectly square in the cart, not an L-line in any way, but her hocks are really big. Now, her sister has a big bone filly also, who didn't have any OCDs, but I believe there could be an OCD in her hock, in her right hock especially, maybe both of them. But I'm not really worried about it. I know that a lot of people are concerned when you start talking about OCDs. It's December. I've noticed since we've been in business ourselves that the practices of removing and then re-entering a working environment, at least from here and from the university where we have them taken out, their prognosis, their work plans have changed quite a bit. It almost seems like, as we were talking about it today, I don't want to drop any names, some real good old horseman who's now in the Hall of Fame actually used to say when the sutures come out, the horses can start working again, which would have run against the wishes. I guess every case is different, but generally speaking, the wishes of the surgeon or the vet clinic in that case. I guess the surgeon. But now it's almost common practice, and it seems like it's 2 weeks for the wounds to cool down. Sutures come out, hand walking, light working. When you're talking about Canada in January, there's no hand walking. Put them in the jog cart, walk them around the track, or let them, cool off a little bit. There's no paddock time. There is right now, but if you start taking out OCDs in the middle of the winter, there's no small paddock, big paddock hand walking. It's the tundra sometimes, so it's more put them in the jog cart, walk them around a little bit, or light jogging. So when you think about it, that 2 week window, if we take the OCDs out December 15th, you do the math. January 1st they're ready to go again. So not any concerns with any horses. No horse are I say, this horse is lame or there's an issue. But there are some horses I do want to continue to get fluoroscoped. We had 3 last week. All 3 fluoroscoped clean. One horse had a tiny OCD in her hind ankle, I believe. No, her hock. The vet said it's all round off. Don't worry about it. So 3 for 3 so far. I'm sure we'll come across some horses that may need some surgery, but not a big deal. Let's get right to it. Let's talk about the horses that I saw go today that were in the sets with me. A couple of them did go before me, and I asked the people that went with them for updates and how they were. James was not here today, so I went with a lot of horses. Johnny, Amy, a young gentleman that we're going to hire starting this week, went with some of the horses. Who else went? Phil went with some. I'm missing somebody. Colt went with some, and then Mario and Chris went with theirs also. So we'll get right to it. Almost There Boss continues to do everything perfectly right. Very, very happy with this colt. He has done everything right since day one. I know they said when we went to break him, he was going to be a little problematic. We haven't even castrated him yet, And I don't know if we will. He is a Sunshine Beach, so that may happen. But for right now, Almost There Boss is A+. He does everything right. Amor Diener did everything right again today. I didn't specifically see him go with my own eyes. I talked to Phil after. Phil said he's been doing everything right for the last little bit. Now, this is important. Pay attention to this. This is another horse where he was really cranky, tough to get out of the door, switching his tail, just didn't want to do his work. This went on for about 2 weeks. Finally, we castrated him. That was 2.5, 3 weeks ago. The last week and a half, 2 weeks, he's been ears up the ramp, do his work. He was perfect. Him and a number of other horses. Confederate Cruiser, again, another one that was castrated that is good. So trust me when I tell you, I know a lot of people disagree with this sometimes, but when you give the horses 2, 3, 4 weeks to come out of that stubbornness, that crankiness, that little bit of ignorance or dirt, as some trainers might say, and they just don't, then I think it's time to really take a serious look at castration. And we've been pretty on point with that over the last few years, and that will continue into 2021. But Almost There Boss wasn't on the list. Amor Diener did make it on the list. Excuse me. Goodness. And Amor Diener's been great since. So, again, top marks across the board for him. We'll have a drone out again for you guys soon. Obviously, we couldn't. There was no way we could with James not being here on Saturday, the track not being good all week. If the weather permits this week, I'll take a look at the Weather Network all week. If it looks favorable right into Saturday and Curtis can come out on Saturday, then Saturday would be a good day to do this. So we'll tentatively schedule one for next Saturday, but that will be only if Curtis can do it. So let's get back to it. Arches Rainbow, this filly looks fantastic. There's not going to be a ton of shares released to this filly. I had bought her privately. There's a small group that owns the majority of these shares. There are a few shares left over. Now, a couple of people wanted in on this filly, and then one of them in particular bought shares in another horse. I said, I don't need the shares in Arches Rainbow, but there will be only a few shares up for sale for this filly. I want to go back and try to refresh my memory of who actually wanted the shares, and they'll be probably the ones that will take the remainder of them up. But as of right now, she's done everything right. She trots really nice. Johnny was very happy with her today. He went with her. I thought she looked tremendous. So Arches Rainbow, again, doing things well. Better Be Sawyer is a very, very fast filly that has a lot to learn. And it's not that she's stubborn or rude. It's just sometimes she lets speed get in the way. Sometimes her body goes a little quicker than her brain. And I went with her last week, and somebody said, oh, she's acting up. And I had her on the outside and on the front end. She was great. But as soon as she got bottled up, she gets really claustrophobic, and you can just feel her start to get a little wiry, and she'll bolt sometimes. So that just comes with these sets, right? Seeing sets going, looking at sets, being in sets. This is why we do things the way we do them. This is why we train them the way we train them. And I think Better Be Sawyer will be a much better horse as we go along. There's certainly no shortage of speed there. She's very clean-gated, beautiful filly. Just needs to get all the screws tightened up in her head. Blue Bayou Dio has been good from day one. The only dig on her was that she was a little stubborn and she would kick. Both of those seem to be dissipating. Amy went with her yesterday, and I believe she went with her today, if I'm not mistaken. But I saw her on the track yesterday. She's a beautiful filly. Another very clean, very nice gated filly. This is a Trixton filly we bought out of the on-gate sale. Earliest, I believe the first grouping of horses were the two Dio horses. We bought them in the summer. Bomb Hugger continues to do everything well. We had her to the vet. This is a filly that did have the little OCD, but as the vet said, it's rounded off. So what she means by rounded off is it's been in there for a while, it's worn down, and it doesn't bother her anymore. Those OCDs, when they first come off, they're very sharp and they irritate the joint a lot. But when they get rounded off like that, if they're in a good place, there's no need to take them out, and that's the case with Bomb Hugger. Now, the vet did say if it starts to bother her later on as she's training down, then you could look at it, but she said, I really doubt this will ever bother her. So that's good news. She was one of the three that were 3 for 3 at the vet. Century Invictus, I hadn't gone with this horse for a while. One of the fastest horses we have right now, which isn't saying a lot. None of them can really do a whole lot right now, but man, he can really dance. Only thing I don't like about him, he's one of those horses he's on the castration bubble also, where, you ask him to go, and his first thought in his head is no. His first thought in his head is go away, and you can see him pin his ears or switch his tail. Can't have that. So, but he is fast. He is doing his work well. Again, a lot will go on between December 15th and the new year. You'll see some OCD surgeries take place. You'll see some castrations take place. Now the castrations are a little different. 1 day in the stall and then light jogging thereafter, just to keep the swelling out of that area. So nothing definitive yet with Century Invictus, but it did catch my eye today. He can really, really dance this horse. He's fast, but I don't like that hesitation, that little, even the minute hesitation. There's no room for hesitation in a race. There certainly isn't one. There's nowhere for one in a horse training down also. And if I continue to see it, then he'll go from the bubble to the scalpel quite quickly. Confederate Cruiser did everything right. So his hobbles are like that long. They're that too long, and he still paces nice. They said, you want to pull them in? I said, just leave him alone. He doesn't need to be doing any more than he's doing right now. Got a real slick gait. I really like the way this horse looks. Duke Dio, I'll be honest, I did not see this guy go today, but by all accounts, he's doing his work very, very well again. This is the well-bred Trixton colt that we had bought from the on-gate sale in the middle of the summer. LSL, we wanted to vaccinate all the... I don't know if the vet did today or not. I got to text him. We were going to vaccinate all the horses today to see... not all the horses. There's maybe 11 that had got sick and then got sick again, and we've preached about this. Heading into the summer, there seems to be a correlation between the horses that got sick a couple of times early and the horses that struggle a little bit in that month of July. So we want to try and combat that even more. We're going to vaccinate them now, and then when we do the mass vaccination of all our 2-year-olds in the new year, we'll do them again. So LSL is a horse that's on that list, but just a beautiful gait, really, really nice trotter. This is a guy, I believe he's the first foal out of a Muscle Hill mare, and is doing his work very well. Eyes at 10 was 2 of the 3, was another one of the 3 that went up last week to get checked out. Everything looks good from her. She can really, really trot. Really nice looking filly. Not surprising, this is the sister to Lawmaker, and Amy loves going with her. She's a really, really nice filly. Garden State Dio, as I said, top marks across the board. Beautiful filly, very intelligent, very classy way about her. Her hocks do carry a little filling, so I want to get her looked at. I would say there's a better than good chance that there's some OCDs to come out, but certainly doesn't bother me in the least. So Garden State Dio doing her work very well. We're going to look and see about the OCDs this week. We'll have her up to the vet to get floor scoped and x-rayed. Grace, this is Darling Please's sister. She's doing her work well, did her work well again today. Got a nice kind of fluid gait to her. A little chunkier than her sister, but again, she's doing her work well. I can't ask her to do any more than she is doing. Granite Hill, over in the shaft a little bit. He might be a horse we get looked at also. Might be a horse that we get looked at also. But as of right now, just a big, strong bugger. Amy went with him today. He might be a little more horse than Amy likes. He's bigger, he's stronger, he can be a little bully even with her. So I'll start going with him Monday for a little bit, get a real good line on him, but he trots very, very, very nice. Harlan L. In my opening video, I told you guys how I liked Harlan L today, how I was concerned from day one that he would strike his knees a little more than acceptable, I guess. Not that he couldn't race, not that he couldn't be an effective horse. It's just not something you want to see horses doing. You go to the track, they get in a tight spot, get running in, they hit that knee, they make a break. They're just not as effective. So it's something you want to try and get them away from as best you can. Now, as a trainer, what you'd want to do for a horse with a nice gait like his, put a little weight on them, try to get them up over that knee. But you really won't be able to see if they can get over that knee until they got some speed into them. He went probably faster than anybody today for an entire 2 laps. Now, I let some of the pacers and a couple of trotters rock for maybe 5/8 of a mile, but none of them went that full mile trotting or pacing wide open. This guy did. And the faster he went, the more he got over his knee, the straighter he went. And the funny thing was, not shocking, but it's always nice to see, but not that shocking. As he got to places where he would hit his knee before or get close to his knee, you'd see his ears come forward because he was now trotting up over his knee, and it became less of an issue. So I think if we can keep this guy's confidence training down, you're going to see a big, strong Cantab Hall colt. But so far, so good. Definitely good today. Harlanelle, I was very happy with him. Harvard Yard, I'll continue to mention her. She's doing her work, just jogging in Pennsylvania. We'll probably have a video this week from Tim about how she's going, what she looks like. But I know I saw her when I was there 10 days ago. I thought she looked really, really good. So Harvard Yard, well-bred filly, the Andover Hall filly that we had bought in Timonium that Tim Twaddle is training down. So Harvard Yard is a horse that I noticed there was some shares of the filly moved. I think there'll be more moved closer into the springtime when people get a real good feel for what she's all about, you know, how she's moving. Only a video can do that, or maybe eyewitness accounts if you want from Tim and his staff. Hill of Magic looks good today. This is a filly we had a curb crowd the other day. As I said to a couple of our clients the other day, just a beautiful gait, big strong filly, very green and immature. She looks at everything, she sees everything. Gonna take some time with her, but you can tell there's a lot of power in that body. It's a big body. So really happy with Hill of Magic. Kathy with an eye. I didn't see her today. She already has a giant body. She's a little stubborn earlier on, going onto the track and going in groups. But once you got her on the track, she was great. Getting her out the door, around the turn, up the hill. A little stubborn sometimes, but she's getting better every day. No reports over the last week of her being bad, and today she was good. Loving Beauty was another filly. Stood off a little bit. She going to interfere? Is she not? Colt's been going with her. She looked good today. He really let her dance, and she's... what's the noise? Oh. She's got a lot of pop to her, and really happy with what I've seen from Loving Beauty so far. No online, over on a shaft, none of that. Really happy with what I've seen from her since she's been in the barn. Luck of the Dragon, now he's going to be castrated. He was castrated yesterday, Luck of the Dragon. I know I felt bad. I didn't really tell anybody he was getting castrated. I've been so busy. It was pretty simple. I gave him the 2-week rule. It turned into 3 weeks. 3 weeks of being stubborn and ignorant means you're probably going to be castrated. And it's just, he's got that little Napoleon attitude, right? Like he's the boss, but he's got a beautiful gait and a nice way of going, this horse. We're going to get him completely vetted out. He's now castrated. We'll have him completely vetted out over the next week, 10 days. Want to make sure we got a real clean piece of clay to work with as we train him down. He's got good breeding. He's got a real nice gait on him, and he can really dance when you ask him to. I think this is a colt that everybody's really one of those ones that is going to catch everybody's eye throughout the springtime, I believe. Massive Profit, I didn't go with him today. They said he's been a little crusty, but he was castrated maybe a week or 10 days ago. Before that, he was a little stubborn getting to the track, on the track. Now it's a lot less. I didn't actually see him go today, but from what I was told, he did his work very, very well today. Matt's MVP, I saw him on the track. He's got such a slick, beautiful gait to him, this horse. Moves well on the track. Makes the odd break and goofs around, but he's got that big, loafy, powerful gait to him. I can't wait to see this horse. We start feeding him some speed throughout the winter and spring. $1 Million Swan was just freshly castrated 2 days ago. It's going to take some time with this guy. You know, he can trot slow. You speed him up. He gets a little self-conscious, and he was a little cranky and ignorant, making breaks, wouldn't do his work, hence the castration. He didn't even make it to the 2-week line. I only went with him 2 or 3 times, and I said, no, this guy goes on the list. But there's nothing wrong with that, especially, you know, this early stage of it. I'm not concerned when they're doing anything. My only job right now, try and weed out the ones that need to be castrated. Secondly, are there any OCDs or any problems? Everything else we can work with. The being bad, the being ignorant, doing things wrong, being immature, green, this is just baby stuff. My job right now is to figure out who needs medical attention, who needs to be looked at by the veterinarian as far as OCDs or potential OCDs go, and who needs castrated. We're on top of that, and $1 Million Swan, he'll get his work, no problem at all. Miss Mildred, you've never heard of Miss Mildred. You might say to yourself, what's a Miss Mildred? I'm going to tell you. Miss Mildred is a Sunshine Beach filly that was sent here. I told you guys at the start of the year there would be horses sent here privately. Goes without saying. I thought there'd be more, but the sales were so strong it probably wasn't that hard to sell them. I thought it would be at the start of the year. It's perfectly fine. We've had a great sale season. I'm fine with the numbers we have. 49 yearlings in the barn right now. Number 49 is Miss Mildred. This is Sunshine Beach filly, first foal. Looks okay. Looks like she cut her arm on the trail right over, so we haven't actually broke her yet. I want to let that heal up. It didn't seem to bother her in any way, but I don't want to irritate it. So we'll see how she looks on Monday. By all accounts, it's coming nicely. It looks good. It looks like, to me, my layman view, I think she got her leg over something in the trailer and cut her arm. she's not lame on it. It doesn't seem to bother her, so it doesn't bother me. Miss Mildred will break her next week. Will you see her under the drone? Probably not. Maybe. Might give you a little sneak peek of Miss Mildred, but for the most part, old Mildred's going to be broke this week sometime. Mischievous Rose continues to do everything right. This is a filly, another one I think will catch your eye. She's that 1-2-3 type, 1-2-3-4 type, really square gated trotter. Just does her work really well. She's going to be one that we continue to say, much like we did with the other fillies and muscle mass fillies last year, they continue to do their work well. I saw the other one train today with Harry. She looked awesome. The 3-year-old. So, 2-year-old coming 3. So Mischievous Rose, again, this muscle mass breed is just the meat and potatoes type horse, right? They just do it right from day one. Some of them get really good. Some of them stay okay. Some of them aren't. But they do it right from day one. They got that real square gait. And Mischievous Rose, definitely one of those. Of Tom. Oh, Tommy. You guys know by now I kind of have a little soft spot for Of Tom already. I like this filly. I like everything about her. I love the way she trots. And as I let... who was I letting... Oh, the pacer. What was his name? Starts with C. Century Invictus. As I was letting him roll along today, as I started to slow him up... Here comes Of Tom, and we were rocking for 5/8 of a mile. And old Tom, nothing bothers her. Johnny loves her. You can't go with her now. I could see from day one she was really bad when we first broke her. She was laying down in the yard sometimes, wouldn't come out of the stall, wouldn't go out the door, didn't want to turn, just bad. And then she got better and better, and now she does everything right. So Of Tom was good again today. 1-2 skip a few, a little bit like the Swan Colt. Trotted nice today. Jason said she was a little sick all week. There are some yearlings spread out, but as the 2-year-olds coming back in go to those barns, we'll retrieve the 2-year-olds. Obviously, I don't want to start laying off caretakers, and if Jason's barn needs some horses, we did send some of the Ohio breds down there after we broke them, just to be jogged up and put in sets with us. And as our Ohio breds come back, my jazz, I'm a lovely lady, mama knows best, Miss Meringue, as those horses come back, we will put those in Jason's barn and take the babies back. So that's the plan with that. 1-2 skip a few. She was pacing, galloping, not putting her work together perfectly. Now over the last 4 or 5 days she is. I saw her on the track day. I thought she looked really, really good. So a lot like $1 Million Swan, just gonna have to take her time, but she will.
For Amy?
Yeah, just throw it on the porch. Peanut butter and jelly. Today was the second day she paced the whole, well, not the whole way. We went out in the track, pulled her hobbles on the track. This is how smart this filly can be. Stopped her, pulled her hobbles up on the track, changed a little bit of equipment, took her head up a little bit. Away she went. She paced. She got a nice gait when she's pacing. She's a little clappy up front, but I'd say the way her action is, typical Bettor's Delight. Knees probably are open, wide open still. Obviously, she's a baby. I think we'll probably slide a set of flip-flops on her at some point in the wintertime, but we'll see. She's one again. If she hits the pacing, it's better, and then she's perfect. Great. If she finds hurdles a little hard to get by throughout her training, we'll get her up to the vet and get her looked at. But right now, I was very, very happy. Very slick-gated filly on the track. Prairie Fire did his work well. All those horses down in Jason's barn. Slim Jimmy, Prairie Fire, even the Skip a Few filly. There's another one down there. I forget who it is. It'll come to me as I get to the name. But Prairie Fire just continues to do his work well. Just a really, really nice colt. Procrastinator. Again, this is a colt. Had a loose tail. Lost a little bit of weight when we got him. We castrated him. Lost a little bit more weight. We've been treating him for EPM for the past month. Had him on ulcer medication. Just stuff to pick him up. You know, get him back on track, and he looked good on the track today. Johnny had gone with him. I haven't gone with him a while. Johnny McKinnon went with him, and I said to him after about 3 or 4 or 5 rounds, I said, he looks much better, that horse. He said, yes. He said, you know, he used to knuckle over a lot. He looks healthier now, and he does. Very happy with the way that Procrastinator's looked the last week anyway. Definitely the last 3 days that I've seen him. Purple Aura, just another, she does everything right. She does everything right from day one. She's done everything right. I don't mean to downplay some of these horses, like, you know, I talk about how good Of Tom is, but, you know, I kind of give you a matter-of-fact feeling when it comes to a Mischievous Rose or a Purple Aura. And I apologize. There's nothing matter of fact about them. They're very nice fillies. They do everything right. I'm trying to focus on what's wrong with this one, what's wrong with that one. Geez, this one looked really, really good. When you have some horses that just do it right every day, and they seem to get downplayed, and it isn't my intention. But Purple Aura is one of those horses, just does everything right all the time. Renegade Gypsy, big, cold. Every time I see him on the track, I can't believe how big he is. I don't remember him being that big when we looked at him. Like, I thought he was just an average-sized, good-looking horse, but he is a big, big boy, and he looked good again on the track today. Resolute Bay continues to look perfect on the track. Colt went with him today. Very, very happy with Resolute Bay. Rose above it. First time I saw him today. He needs to get in a set more. He got looking around, gawking around, being stupid, made a couple of breaks. I'll go with him the next 3 or 4 days of the week, and I'm sure he'll polish up like that. But today wasn't his best day. Kept looking around and rolling off stride. But I suspect that will come to an end by Tuesday of next week. Rosie's Masterpiece continues to do things right. Chris went with her in with her group again today. She's going to start to polish up nice and look good in the sets she's in. Slim Jimmy, again, Slim Jimmy looked good again today. This has been the quintessential trotter since day one. He's done everything right every day. I've never seen him roll off, make a break, do something stupid. He just does everything perfectly right. Spent did everything good again today. He continues to trot along nicely. We had castrated him 10 days ago. No, 5 days ago maybe. But he looked good today on the track. Stonebridge Dolce did not go today. She had a little temperature, coughing a little bit. She'll start back on Monday. I'm eager to get working with this filly. I thought she had a couple of OCDs in places and she was rough and rolly. We got her up to the vet. She said, no, there's no OCDs there. So I put flip-flops on her, changed her shoes. We're going to get working on her hard to get her caught up and focused on what she's doing here in the coming weeks. Stonebridge Hecate looked good today. Mario went with him. He's like a little miniature Simba. He looks exactly like him. And it's a little embarrassing and a little silly that he's got so many shares left. I suspect they'll disappear quite quickly. But Stonebridge Hecate certainly looked good today and has since day one. Sweet on Pete. Again, that's the other horse down in Jason's barn. Again, I feel bad. You know, she doesn't spring to mind because she's done everything right since day one. Never have we had a problem with Sweet on Pete. She does everything correctly. So another horse that's kind of push button heading into 2021 for the Ohio season. 3 Point Blue Chip, I couldn't wait. First one I wanted to go with today. I got to the barn. I was there at 8:30. I look. He's got him ready. I said, I'll go with that one first. Put him in the group. You know, I'll be honest. Does he feel any different than some of the other horses that are doing it right? No. But he looks so good. He looks how a horse is supposed to look. He just has something at the start none of the other ones have for the most part, and that's that very strong back breeding, right? That pedigree. And I don't want to say, oh, you can tell the difference. You can't. But he looks real nice. He does everything great, right. He does everything flawlessly, picks up speed quickly. And it's funny because the two that stood out in my mind, now maybe I'm biased, maybe it's not fair, maybe I should ask somebody who doesn't know who they are just to pick the horses. But him and Will to Win Hanover today certainly caught my eye. Very, very happy with 3 Point Blue Chip. Taiwan On just jogged today. She had tiny temperature, 100.9 or something. So Rick Vive was at the barn today, and I said, how comfortable are you with jogging? And he said, I jogged a few when I was a kid. And he had jogged with us when he was out earlier in the summer. So I'd asked him, do you want to go with this filly? She's quiet as a kitten. Taiwan On does nothing wrong. He went out and jogged her 3 miles, and she was perfect. Made his day, and she was very, very good for him. So she didn't train today. She just, none of them really trained, but she didn't go the right way of the track. She just jogged. Tioga Sunshine was the second horse that Rick went with. In fact, he did so well with Tioga Sunshine. She was in the set with us. He did so well with Tioga Sunshine that I'd asked him if he wanted to go with Taiwan On. So Tioga Sunshine did everything great today. There was a horse come training 100 behind her and blew right by her, and she humped. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to kill Rick Vive. And nope, she humped, and then she just stopped and trotted on. I was like, you okay? And he said, yeah, no, it's no problem. It would have been a problem. She'd have let go, I can tell you that. So Tioga Sunshine was good again, as always, again today. Twin B Habanero hobbles on him for the second day today. He was a standout in the group that we had sent him out with. He just did everything perfect. And the kid, Cody, I believe, that went with him. And I asked him how he said he's perfect. And he has got a slick gait. Wait until you see this guy. Wow. Twinkle in her eye looked good today. Mario went with a couple little breaks here and there. Typical Better's Delight, bumping along a little bit, but does her work well. I was happy with what I saw from Twinkle in her eye. Unbeatable Kemp. Amy goes with this colt. This is Amy's horse. No fooling around. She loves this horse, and you're going to see why in the coming months. This horse has got a beautiful, beautiful gait. 2 Walners, 2 very, very perfect gaits. What else do we got here? You Gotta Believe went good today. Now, Jason went with him before I got there, but he said he does everything right, and today was another day of that. Voyage of Ice and Fire. Now, if you don't put the spaces in the right place, it looks like Voyage Office and Fire. No, too many F's. There, that's better. Voyage of Ice and Fire. I told you guys I was working with this guy. I really have an affinity for these Break the Bank Ks. I love GW Chrome. I really, really like this guy. So I went with him today. We have the hobbles on him. Saw a little mark on his inside knee. Funny, George will do the same thing, GW Chrome. He almost doesn't need knee boots, but he wears them. This guy here, I'm probably going to put them on him for a little bit. Take the bell boots off him. He can really dance. I really, really like the way this horse trots. He was flying today. Voyage of Ice and Fire. You're going to see soon enough. Will to Win Hanover, as I said, this horse really caught my eye. I was really happy with what I've seen from Will to Win Hanover. From day one, this horse has had a natural, big, powerful gait, and I see it again here. So, Will to Win Hanover, good again today. World for 2, I didn't see him go, but they say this horse paces perfectly. Not a shocker. I saw him go the first day. I went with him, and then again I went with him on the one drone I think we had, drone day we had. He looked very, very good and looked fantastic again today. So that's all the babies. Now you know everything I know about the yearlings. We'll be back in a minute. We still got the 2-year-olds. A lot of them coming back here in the next 2 weeks. 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds in all the barns. It's getting a little dark now. Might be able to get one in real quick.